Hey guys, well, it'll be Thursday in 5 minutes, so happy day of the week. This week's topic is about being trans adjacent, as in living life as a partner, what you have learned about yourself by being with somebody that's trans. In the meantime, you might notice my snazzy bow tie that matches my hair. I'm a pack rat, and we cleaned my side of the room yesterday, and it took a long time. And I found it, and it matches my hair, and it's awesome. And tonight we went out to a bar to celebrate some friends' recent engagement. So congratulations if you guys are watching. They're really cute. And it was interesting. Gavin went out to smoke without me, and there was a drag queen there who, upon learning that Gavin was trans, tried to feel up his chest just to see if he'd had surgery yet, and she thought that was cool. So, as soon as I got out there, I was nice and pushy and got him some space. Onto the topic. Being trans adjacent. So some of the most interesting things I've learned, alright, it's not necessarily personal, but one thing that I've learned since being with Gavin is how big of an umbrella term being trans is. And if you're not familiar with the concept, think of it kind of like this. Say you have the state of transgender. I live in Texas, so you have the state of transgender. And then within that state, you have Texas, San Antonio, you have Austin, you have Dallas, you have our little teeny tiny hole in the wall town here. So within the state of transgender, you have gender queer, neutral, andro, whatever variation or format you like and take and pick. So that's an easy way I think of it. If you've ever heard the phrase transgender as an umbrella term and you didn't know what that meant, hopefully that's kind of helpful for you too. So I think probably the biggest thing I've learned from being with Gavin about myself is, I guess, just how large the concept of gender is and how undefined it is. It used to be when you were having a baby, people got you pink things or people got you blue things because the options were a boy or a girl, and there was no such thing as being somewhere in the middle or flip-flopping or wandering around or anything other than being a boy or a girl. So for me, I identify as genderqueer, and for me that means if you think about an old school clock, you have your pendulum. Now let's say over here is your extreme female, stereotypical high heels, pink lipstick, whatever. Stereotypical female, stereotypical male. So me on a pendulum, I swing back and forth. Some days I wear high-heeled boots. A lot of other times I wear steel-toed boots. It's just kind of as I feel comfortable and what I feel like when I wake up. I had a roommate back in the day. As a joke, she used to ask me if I was a boy or a girl today, and, I'd respond with whatever, and she'd treat me accordingly, but we never really took it seriously because it was just something we were being silly about, You can't do that. That's dumb, right? So I think being with Gavin opened up the concept that it is allowed, and it is, at least emotionally, legal, and, it's not that weird, and there are other people out there like me, which I find really comforting. Yeah, I think that's the general idea about my thoughts on gender. I find it fascinating how broad it is, how wide it is, how many options there are, and it's kind of like, it's like a book that's still being written almost. It was a story that started once upon a time, and as society grows and matures and evolves, we each fill out our own individual story. So we're still working on the definition of gender, and I really like that concept. I wish I could paint it, but I don't have a visual other than pink and blue, which is lame. Another thing I've learned is to not assume other people's gender, to not stereotype, to not automatically man someone that looks like they're female-bodied. I try to conversate as genderless as possible until they indicate however they like to swing. Like earlier, the drag queen that was feeling up Gavin had, you know, a skinny little friend who's, I mean, other than like a high-pitched voice, you know, there was absolutely no indicator whatsoever. And this kid was talking about how hard it is to come out. So, you know, I'm like, oh, you're trans, cool, welcome to the family. I don't know you. Turns out they just come out as lesbian recently, and they're having a hard time with it, you know? Which is an example of me stereotyping people. And it's kind of funny that I assumed somebody was trans without them being trans. I don't know. I read a blog a while back by an older butch woman who was very frustrated by the younger lesbians or trans guys coming in that would automatically call her sir, because she was butch. Because, you know, for her, butch is not a stepping stone on the way to being trans. Gavin might make a cameo. Just some noise in the corner. Alright, but anyways, so being butch is not a stepping stone on the way to being trans, and so that was, so there he is. Yay. Hi, sweethearts. Yeah, I like him a lot. Anyways, so older lady frustrated by the younger generation automatically assuming that she was trans simply because she presented as very butch, and that is something that I catch myself doing. Obviously, I failed at it tonight, you know, because I saw a little kid with no really telltale gender giveaways, I guess, and I assumed they were trans simply because they were talking about coming out being hard, so I need to not do that. Another thing I've learned is that sex appeal is so much deeper and so much more complex than being a physical attraction. You know, it used to be you'd stare at tits or ass or legs or, you know, whatever it was that you liked, but as I'm maturing, I was like, you know, I don't even know that it has anything to do with Gavin being trans, but just me maturing as a grown-up, I think, and learning that sex appeal is so much deeper than the physical, you know, than liking what's on the outside. People always talk about beauty being skin deep, and that beauty fades, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, God, where was I going with that? It was so good. It's the bow tie, getting choked. Alright. But yeah, there's more to beauty, and there's more to attraction than, there's more to sex appeal than physical attraction. That's what. Fun example for me, wearing a binder. Binders make me feel so fucking sexy. I feel so feminine in them. I feel graceful, I feel delicate, I feel beautiful in a binder, which is strange. I haven't met anybody else that feels that way, so if you do, you should totally tell me so that I will feel a little less weird. And I don't know, it's just an example of people's sexual expression and gender expression being different. I don't know. I like to be unique, but it's not like I really try excessively hard to be weird. I just kind of am. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Probably should have made the video before I started drinking. But, alright, so my notes are, trans is an umbrella term, sex appeal is more than physical, be considerate and don't assume other people's gender expression being diverse, and how many variations of sexy there are. And I wrote pendulum down with big stars next to it. I think I got that one. We're in the bedroom, by the way. This is a very glared picture of me and Gavin way back in the day. It's one of my favorites. I think we're so fucking cute. Alright, sorry, rambled a whole lot. Oh, we have some openings on the channel coming up. If you are interested, message me. Find me on Facebook, Shay Tracy, or if you're in the Sweetheart group and you're already friends with me on Facebook, shoot me a message, or shoot me a message on the channel here. Tell me why you feel like you'd be a good addition to the Sweethearts channel. We don't discriminate. We would love to have some male-identified partners on the channel, because we don't have any right now. And diversity is wonderful.